So it goes on to say, Jubilee 17, 15 through 16, and we're also going to read portions out of 18 as well, because we're going to see Abraham keeping Passover and unleavened bread, but in a very unique way. Okay? So it goes here in 17, 15 through 16. And it came to pass in the 7th week, in the first year thereof, in the first month, and this Jubilee, on the 12th of this month, there were voices in heaven regarding Abraham, that he was faithful in all that he told him, and that he loved the Lord, and that in every affliction he was faithful. I'm going to stop real quick, guys. I just want to point out we're doing some math, okay? So that's why I put it looks strange at the bottom with a few chapters from 17 and a few chapters from 18. It looks strange, but again, I didn't have time to read all of chapter 17 and 18. There's big chapters in the book of Jubilees, and I'm giving you the snippets because I'm helping you quickly as a resource. You can tie these together quickly because you can see what day this is happening of what month, and then we're going to add some days up, and it shows you that it's happening on unleavened bread. It's beautiful. This is going to be our moments where the Father, it actually tells us, I'll keep reading here, it tells us Prince Mastema, which is Satan, he's actually trying to test Abraham, and so he's the one that suggests that the Father ask Abraham to sacrifice Isaac. And it goes on to say, and the Prince Mastema came and said before God, behold, Abraham loves Isaac his son. He delights in him above all things else. Bid him offer him as a burnt offering on the altar, and you will see that if he will do this command, and you will know if he's faithful in everything which you do try him. So then we go on to, this is verse chapter 18 comes up next, verse 1 through 3. He says, and God said to Abraham, 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 and he said, behold, here I am I. And he said, take your beloved son whom you love, even Isaac, and go into the high country, and offer him on one of the mountains which I point out to you. And he rose early in the morning and saddled his ass, and they took his 2 young men with him, and Isaac his son, and clave the wood of the burnt offering. And he went to the place on the 3rd day, and he saw the place afar off. So guys, the reason why I put this here, if you line up these verses, you see this conversation starts on the 12th of the first month of the year. And then 3 days later, Abraham gets to the place where he and Isaac are going to do this moment that we see in Genesis 22. Guys, this is happening on the first day of unleavened bread, the 15th of the first month, which is when you're supposed to slay and eat the sacrifice of the Passover. How beautiful is that? And of course, we know the rest of the story. The Lord provided a ram on that day. Isaac wasn't actually, it was a test. Isaac wasn't done. And in fact, Hebrews 11 literally calls it a test to Abraham. And we see the backstory here in Jubilee is that Mastema, just like in the book of Job, when Satan comes before God to test Job, same kind of concept happens here with Abraham. And of course, Abraham passes the test. The Father, he doesn't accept human sacrifice anyway, stops the whole thing, interrupts the process, and they sacrifice the lamb, which was exactly what you're supposed to do on the first day of unleavened bread. And remember, guys, and this is just speculation, okay? Just speculation, but remember what it says. The instructions for Passover was you're supposed to have taken the lamb on the 10th, and then you slay it at the evening, in the evening times between the crossing over between the 14th and the 15th. And so that way you can eat it on the 15th after it's already dark, at the beginning of the day of the 15th. But remember that you're supposed to hold that lamb for 4 days. I always wonder, how long was that ram caught in the thicket? Was it up there for 4 days? I don't know. It's just speculation, but it's interesting. So we're gonna keep finishing this. We're finishing up this last little paragraph here, and it's going to be Jubilees 18 through 19. It says, and Abraham celebrated this festival every year, 7 days with joy. That's the festival of unleavened bread. And he called it the festival of the Lord, according to the 7 days during which he went and returned in peace. How beautiful is that? Because, guys, what we've been trying to say on, let me finish this last sentence, and I'll add my comment. And it says, and accordingly has it been ordained and written on the heavenly tablets regarding Israel and its seed, that they should observe this festival 7 days with the joy of festival. This is why Yeshua in Luke 22 and Matthew 26 talks about us keeping the Passover, the Feast of Unleavened Bread, in the kingdom of heaven. Same thing in Ezekiel 45. In the New Jerusalem, we're going to be keeping the Passover in the kingdom of the Feast of Unleavened Bread. It's ordained forever, guys. It's what they've been keeping in heaven. It's a memorial forever. It's a feast day. It's 7 days. And think about what it says. Abraham celebrated it because it was where he went and returned in peace. Guys, we've been saying this for a long time on Kingdom of Context. Passover is, in my understanding, and according to was it in the Septuagint, Jeremiah 31:38, literally the Passover is when Yeshua comes, gets his resurrected saints, and his wrath passes over us as heat. Like we're the Matthew 13:30, we're the wheat taken to the barn. The newly resurrected saints picked up by angels, taken to the New Jerusalem to be hidden away in our rooms during the indignation of the Lord, as Isaiah 26:19-21 explains. Yeshua's coming down with warrior angels. This is why Paul talks about us meeting him in the air at his coming. We're rising up. He's coming down with the warrior angels to do battle of Armageddon, to take out the beast, false prophet, Satan, the unclean spirits, and the armies that are fighting against him from the nations. So this is the wrath of the Lamb that's happening. This is why I think it's Jeremiah 31:38 talks about this is with the feast of the Lord that we're gathered for Passover. So how interesting is it? Because if we're celebrating 7 days and then it says we went and then we returned in peace, how beautiful. Because in that 7 days, this is what I've said before, guys, we're going to be made, like we read already, not just in this chapter, but also, 2 Peter, Exodus 19, Revelation 20, verse 4-6, we're going to be made a kingdom of priests. Well, Leviticus 8:9 tells us the process that must happen with priests. You have to be ordained. And guess what, guys? That process takes 7 days. We're resurrected. This is my speculation. We're resurrected. Angels take us to the New Jerusalem before it descends. During that 7-day period, Yeshua and the angels are battling, clearing out the earth, preparing the land for the New Jerusalem to set down, burning everything with fire, rounding up all the bad entities that are fighting against him. We're being ordained in our priesthood. New Jerusalem's going to come down. We went and we returned in peace. Be very interesting. Be very interesting.